Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more gripping real-life stories like this one. The dining room was filled with the warm aroma of roasted turkey and cinnamon-scented candles. Everyone had taken their seats. The fine china gleamed on the table. Mom's house hadn't felt this lively in years. Then my sister rose and lightly tapped her wineglass with a fork. "I have an announcement," Brittany said. Her smile was perfect, polished, the kind clearly practiced for photos. "Mom and I have decided she's leaving the house to me." The air shifted. Gas circled the table. Mom reached out, taking Brittany's hand, her eyes shimmering with pride. "It just makes sense," Brittany went on. "I've always stayed close, always been around when she needed someone." Across the table, my brother Tyler nodded. "That's fair. You've earned it." Mom squeezed Brittany's hand. "I know you'll take care of it," she said. Then everyone's eyes turned toward me. Brittany's expression shifted, subtle, almost mischievous. "Don't worry," she added. "You can visit any time." I set down my fork without a word. Hidden in my purse, inside an envelope I had folded that very morning, was the deed to the house. I had bought it 32 days ago. "My name is Megan. I'm 36, a real estate attorney who specializes in estate transactions. I've spent years helping families untangle the legal complexities of property ownership, inheritance disputes, and foreclosure prevention. I know how to read a title, trace a lien, and understand exactly what happens when a mortgage goes unpaid for 14 months. I grew up in that house, learned to ride my bike in the driveway, marked my height on the kitchen doorframe. It was the only home my mother had ever owned, and she was on the verge of losing it without ever realizing it. Brittany had always been the favorite. She stayed local after high school, landed a job at a boutique downtown, married young, lived just 10 minutes away, and made sure everyone knew it. Every favor she ran for Mom became a story. Every casserole she delivered turned into a headline. Tyler, the middle child, was the peacemaker. He aligned himself with whoever was loudest, usually Brittany. He never had independent opinions, just reactions to everyone else's. And me, I moved 2 hours away for law school. In my family's eyes, that was betrayal. It didn't matter that I graduated top of my class, that I built a career, that I spent years handling matters no one else would touch. I left. That was all they remembered. They believed I had abandoned them. The truth is, I was the only one paying attention. Quietly, for years, I had been monitoring Mom's finances, not at her request, but because I noticed the warning signs. Late bills on the counter, calls from creditors left unanswered, a second mortgage she never mentioned. 6 weeks before Thanksgiving, a foreclosure notice arrived, not for me, but for her house. I bought it to save it. I negotiated directly with the bank, used my own savings, and ran it through an LLC to keep my name off the papers. She never knew who had purchased it. I didn't do it to punish anyone. But sitting there at that table, watching Brittany pine over a house she had no legal claim to, I felt a quiet satisfaction. And I was glad I had done it. The imbalance had lingered for years. It showed up in the group chat, where Brittany's updates always took center stage while mine were barely noticed. It was in the way Tyler only called when he needed free legal advice. It was in the small, seemingly insignificant moments that shouldn't have mattered, but somehow added up to everything. Last year, for Mom's birthday, I paid off her credit card, $3,000 wiped clean. She opened the card where I'd tucked the confirmation and gave me a polite nod. Then Brittany handed her a candle and Mom melted into tears, hugging her tightly, telling her how thoughtful she was. It wasn't about the gift. It was about whom they chose to celebrate. Mom used to tell people Brittany was her rock. I overheard her once at a family barbecue, talking to a neighbor. "Megan's smart," she said, "but she's not warm." I'd long since stopped expecting warmth. When the foreclosure notice arrived, I called Mom immediately. I asked what had happened, why she'd missed over a year of payments. Her voice turned icy. "It's none of your business," she said. I reminded her I was a real estate attorney and could help. "I don't need your help," she replied. "Brittany's handling it." That night, I checked public records. Brittany hadn't done a thing. No bank calls, no relief applications, no payment arrangements, nothing. The house was set for auction in 30 days. I could have forced the conversation, but I knew how it would go. She'd defend Brittany, dismiss me, and while they argued, the house would be lost. So I handled it myself. I reached out to the bank, arranged a private sale, and used every legal tool I had to expedite the paperwork. I drained nearly all my savings. I set up an LLC so my name wouldn't appear on the deed. When the deal closed, the house was no longer in danger. She hadn't wanted my help, but I wasn't about to let pride endanger the house. A week later, I visited Mom. I tried, gently, to bring up the house. She cut me off mid-sentence. I told you Brittany's handling it. She found a solution. What solution? I asked. I talked to someone at the bank. It's fine now. I knew it was a lie. The bank had sold the house to my LLC. Brittany hadn't spoken to anyone. Still, I stayed quiet. Let her believe what she needed. Yet being dismissed again stung. A few days later, I called Tyler, asking if he knew the truth. Brittany had claimed everything was under control. He sighed. It's not. I checked. She hasn't done anything. Why do you always have to make things complicated? He asked. I'm trying to help. Maybe just let Brittany handle it. She's better with Mom. I hung up, sitting in the quiet of my apartment. The refrigerator hummed, and I realized no one would believe me. Not until the truth became unavoidable. Then, days before Thanksgiving, Brittany called. Her voice was sweet, rehearsed almost. Hey, I'm announcing something at dinner. Just giving you a heads up. What is it? Mom's leaving me the house. We made it official. I kept my voice even. Official how? She laughed. That's official enough. Did she sign anything? You're such a lawyer, she said. No, but she promised. Isn't that enough? I said nothing. Don't be jealous, she added. You never wanted to be close anyway. The call ended. I stared at the deed in my desk drawer. The night before Thanksgiving, I reviewed the paperwork one last time. The LLC was clean. The sale was legal. My colleague had double-checked the title transfer. Everything airtight. I also had the record of Mom's missed payments, the foreclosure notice, the auction schedule, 14 months of neglect, all documented. I didn't plan to use it. I just wanted the house protected. I packed the envelope in my bag, unsure if I'd need it, but I wasn't walking into that dinner unprepared. Some people collect photo albums. I collect receipts. That morning, I met my closest friend, Jenna, for coffee. She'd known my family for years and had witnessed their dynamics firsthand. I told her what was about to unfold, Brittany's big announcement, the house she thought she was about to inherit. Jenna stared at me. Wait, she's going to announce she owns a house she doesn't? I nodded. And your mom has no clue you saved it from foreclosure? I nodded again. So what's your plan? I don't know yet. Jenna leaned forward. You've spent your entire life being the responsible one and getting nothing in return. If you stay silent again, nothing will ever change. I don't want to ruin Thanksgiving, I said. They ruined it the moment they decided to erase you, she replied. You're just holding up a mirror. I exhaled. I'll wait and see how it plays out, but I'm not leaving without the truth. She squeezed my hand. Call me afterward. I want to hear everything. Thanksgiving dinner arrived, the table filled with turkey, gravy, stuffing, and warm bread. Silverware clinked, conversation hummed softly, and the scene looked picture perfect. Then Brittany stood, tapped her glass, and made her announcement. Mom beamed. Tyler congratulated her. Hugs were exchanged, happy tears flowed. I stayed frozen in my seat. Then Brittany turned to me. Don't worry, you can visit any time. The room went silent. All eyes were on me. I set my fork down slowly. That's generous of you, I said. But there's a problem. Brittany frowned. What problem? Mom doesn't own this house anymore. The silence was crushing. Mom's voice broke through first. What are you saying? I reached into my bag, pulled out the envelope, and placed it on the table. This house went into foreclosure 6 weeks ago. 14 months of mortgage payments were missed. Mom went pale, her hand falling from Brittany's. Brittany shook her head. That's not true. I handled it. You didn't handle anything, I said. I checked the records. The house was scheduled for auction. Tyler leaned in. Then how is it still standing? I slid the deed across the table. Because I bought it. No one moved. Brittany grabbed the paper, scanning it with trembling hands. This It says it's owned by an LLC. My LLC. Mom's voice cracked. You bought my house out from under me? I met her eyes. I bought it to save it. You were 30 days from losing it. Brittany's voice rose. This is insane. You can't just do that. I'm a real estate attorney, I said. I can. And I did. Legally. Tyler looked at me. Why didn't you tell us? I tried, I replied. You told me to let Brittany handle it. Brittany slammed her hand on the table. You should have said something. Warned us. I called Mom. I called Tyler. Neither of you wanted to hear it. Mom began crying. I didn't know it was that bad. Because you didn't want to know, I said. And you didn't want my help. Brittany's voice was shaking. So now you own the house and we're just supposed to be grateful? I stood. No. You need to understand that I've been holding this family together while others took the credit. I looked at Mom. I'm not selling the house. I'm not kicking anyone out. But you need to grasp what almost happened here. I picked up the deed. And you need to stop pretending Brittany saved anything. She didn't. I did. I returned the envelope to my bag. Happy Thanksgiving. I walked out. The drive home was quiet. My phone buzzed with messages, but I didn't check them. The following days were chaotic. Brittany sent furious texts accusing me of sabotage and humiliation. Tyler sent a long message about how I could have handled it better. Mom didn't reach out at all. A week later, I received a call from an unfamiliar number. It was Mom, calling from a neighbor's phone. Her voice was soft. I didn't know how bad it was, she admitted. I didn't want to worry anyone. You didn't want to ask for help, I said. Not from me. A long pause. Then, I'm sorry. It wasn't enough. But it was something. I set up a payment plan so she could remain in the house. I didn't transfer ownership back. Not yet. Trust has to be rebuilt first. Brittany never apologized. Tyler eventually admitted he should have listened. I skipped Christmas that year, spending it at Jenna's, eating takeout, watching old movies on her couch. For the first time in years, I didn't feel guilty. I'd spent so long being the backbone of a family that didn't want to see me. Now I see myself. That's enough. If you've ever quietly held everything together while others took the credit, I hope this story reminds you that your efforts matter. Even if no one says it, your work counts. Your sacrifices are real, and you don't need recognition to know your own worth.